Hi, second grade, Mrs. Houts here. Welcome to math class. Today is Thursday, October 8th, 2020. And on the side, these are 3 different ways that you could write today's date. So today we are on lesson 2.10 on page 93. Page 93. Our essential question, our big question we're asking is, how does place value help you identify and extend counting patterns? So when they're talking about patterns, that's like when we see something happen again and again. So for example, this right here is a pattern. We see teal, red, blue, teal, red, blue. What will come next? Teal. What will come after that? Red. And last? Or next? Blue. You guys knew that those were the next colors because it happens in a pattern. We can see teals, the reds, and the blues. That's like the same thing that we're doing today, but with numbers. So for example, when we skip count by tens, 10, 20, 30, 40, we see a pattern that we're adding 10 every time. So our tens place changes by one number. We add a 10 to it. So we know then that the next number would be 50 because we had to add 110 to 40. That's what we're talking about when we're saying number patterns or counting patterns. Okay, looking back at the page. We have a hundreds chart, but it goes from 801 to 900. We're going to use this to help us show a counting pattern. At Blossom Bakery, 823 muffins were sold in the morning. Find that on your paper and circle it. 823 muffins. In the afternoon, 4 packages of 10 muffins were sold. How many muffins were sold that day? So we start with 823, and it says 4 packages of 10. So that's 4 groups of 10. 823 plus 10 is 833. That's one group of 10, another group of 10, third group, and then our last and fourth group. So notice how we're going down the hundreds chart. And the only place that changes in this pattern is the tens place. Let's look at the next page, page 94, model and draw box. Look at the digits in the numbers. What 2 numbers are next in the counting pattern? So we have 114, 214, 314, 414. So first let's see, how does this pattern change? What are we adding each time? Each time we are adding 100 plus 100 plus 100. So that means only the hundreds place is changing. That's why the hundreds place is red. So on this line, we can write the hundreds digit changes by 1 each time. So that means the next 2 numbers are 514, and then add 100 more, 614. Let's try that on a couple of these. And notice how they have the blocks right here, up here. So if it helps you to maybe draw on a whiteboard or your pocket sleeve, the blocks, if it helps you to see that each time they're adding like another 100 block, or possibly maybe the tens place is changing and they're adding a 10 block, you can draw the pictures to help you. Remember, that's totally fine. So look at the digits to find the next two numbers. 137, notice this is red. 147, 157, 167. What are we skip counting by? By tens. The tens place is changing. So the next two numbers are, add 10, 177, and then add another 10, 187. The tens place is changing in this one. Number 2, 245, 345, 445, 545. Notice they didn't make the digit that's changing red. So this is a great time to take your crayon and highlight over the digit, so the place that has a number that's changing. In this case, our hundreds place number is changing, so I'm going to highlight over that. So I can see that we're skip counting by hundreds. So the next number, I'll have to add 100 to 545. So that becomes 645. Add another 100, 745. Now we aren't going to do page 95 together, so this is a great page for extra practice. So if you finish the page that you have to do after and you still want to practice, you can come back to this. Let's try this word problem together. There were 135 buttons in a jar. So let's highlight over this. After Robin put more buttons into the jar, there were 175 buttons in the jar. How many groups of 10 buttons did she put into the jar? So on the side, let's draw a picture. Let's first show 135. 100 block, 3 tens, 5 ones. So that's how much she started with. We need to add more 10 blocks to get all the way to 175. So let's draw and count on from 135. So 135, 145, 155, 165, 175. Right here, how many groups of 10 did we add? 4 groups of 10 to get to 175. So then it says, explain how you solved the problem. So you can explain this in many different ways in your own words, but this is to be explained in words. It's good for us to practice saying how we did something. So what I wrote, which remember yours can be different, is the tens digit changed from 3 to 7, so I skip counted by tens. So thanks a bunch, second grade, for learning with me this week more about 3-digit numbers and patterns. If you have questions, I'm sorry there won't be office hours because of the short day, but feel free to ask on Seesaw. If you turn this in, you can leave a comment, a caption, anything to ask questions, and Mrs. McRoberts and I will help guide you through it. Thanks, second grade.